My beloved child, give me just a few moments. Allow your heart to be silent for a moment because there is something I need to talk to you. I know that many times you continue to walk on the outside, but inside you feel a weight that no one can perceive. I know that tiredness that comes not only from the body, but from the soul. I know the nights when your thoughts were racing, the moments when you tried to be strong, even when everything inside you asked for rest. I saw the tears you hid. I heard the prayers you were able to say, and also those that were kept inside your chest because words were lacking. I know every silent battle, every fear you haven't told anyone, and every question you've asked, looking up at the sky trying to understand why certain things happen. My son, you think you are just waiting for an answer, but I tell you, there is something happening right now in places that your eyes cannot yet reach. As you listen to me, I am already touching areas of your soul that have been wounded by time. I'm already bringing light to places where you've become accustomed to darkness. I'm already strengthening roots that seemed weakened by the storms. You think you are standing still, but I tell you, you are being prepared. You think you've wasted time, but I tell you, not a moment delivered into my hands has been wasted. Many times you have called that which I was using as preparation a delay. You called that which I was using as protection a loss. You have called the end of what I was transforming into a new beginning. Look at the story of Joseph. To human eyes, he was forgotten in a prison. He could have believed that his dreams were over there. But I was working on the invisible. That prison was not the end of his story. It was a path that would lead him to the place I had prepared. My son, maybe today you are looking at your own life and seeing only closed doors, changes you didn't expect, people who have moved away, or dreams that seem far away. But I want you to keep this truth in your heart. There is something happening that you have not yet understood. I haven't lost control of your story. Before the difficulty came, I already knew the way. Before the tear fell, I already knew the cure. Before you faced this phase, I was already present, sustaining each step. You are not defined by the difficult time you are living. You are not what you have lost. You are not what they said about you. There is an identity in you that was born from my hands, and no suffering can erase. As it is written in Isaiah 43:1, "Do not be afraid, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. My son, stay with me." I want to talk to you about what you carried alone, about what you tried to hide even from yourself, and about what I am already restoring within you while you thought nothing was happening. There's a reason why you've come to this message today. And before this conversation ends, I will reveal something that your soul needs to remember. My son, remain with me because I want to reveal to you that which has been hidden from human eyes for so long. I'm going to show you how. Every weight, every tear, and every battle carried a purpose that you couldn't yet see. I will talk about the roots that I strengthen in silence, about the identity that I have restored within you, and about the path that I am already leading. If this word has found your heart, write Amen as a statement of faith. Like this message and subscribe to continue receiving words that shall strengthen your walk with me. Don't go now. In the last few minutes of this message, I have something special to reveal to you. There is a truth that your soul needs to remember, because I have never been far from you. I have been working in the unseen since the beginning of this journey, and I will reveal what you need to understand about my presence and my care for you, my child. Keep listening to my voice, because there is a part of your story that you have not yet been able to see. You have looked at what has happened and tried to find an explanation only with your understanding, but I tell you, some answers are not hidden in the circumstances. They are hidden in the transformation that I have already begun within you. You think that that difficult phase just took something away from you, but I tell you, I was revealing something that was dormant within your soul. You think that closed door meant rejection, but I tell you, many times I close paths because I am protecting you from places where your identity would be weakened. You look at the buried seed and think it's gone. But I tell you, it has not disappeared. It is breaking through the earth in silence. There is life happening where your eyes see only darkness. My child, do not allow the appearance of a season to define what I am doing. Winter does not destroy the tree. It only prepares nature for new manifestation of life. So it is with you. There are periods when it seems that nothing changes, but within you I am strengthening roots that will remain when the winds come. You think I should have immediately removed that which caused pain, but I tell you, sometimes I don't take away the process. I transform you during the process. Because the greatest answer you seek is not always in changing the situation, but in changing your vision. I am touching places within you that have been scarred by fear. I am bringing light to thoughts that have been stuck in darkness. I am restoring areas of your soul that you have learned to hide, even from yourself. You think you need to go back to who you were before that fight, but I tell you, I am not leading you back. I am leading you into a deeper version of that which I have created. See Peter. He thought his story had been marked by denial. He cried because he believed he had failed me. But I didn't just see that moment of weakness. I saw his heart. I saw that which I was still forming in him. John 21:17 says, Lord, you know all things. You know I love you. My son, I know what is within you before you can even express it. I know your intentions, your desires, your struggles, and your search for starting over. You think your faults are greater than my grace. But I tell you, my grace reaches places where your guilt has tried to build walls. You think that the difficult chapter of your life tells you who you are, but I tell you, this chapter only reveals that you are being prepared to understand something greater. Don't just look at the wound. Look at the healing that has already begun. Don't just look at the night. Notice the first signs of the light coming. Don't just look at what came out of your hands. Realize that which I am forming within your heart. My son, if this word has touched your heart, write Amen in the comments. Because this act of faith, I hear. My child, I want you to understand something even deeper. The time that you call delay is often the place where I am building that which will remain. You look at the clock, but I look at the formation of your soul. You watch the days go by, but I watch every root that is being strengthened within you. You think that you have missed opportunities because some things did not happen at the time you expected, but I tell you, that which is prepared by me does not arrive late. There are doors that need to find a person ready to walk through them. A seed placed in the ground does not appear as a tree the next day. First, it breaks from within. First, it takes root in the occult. First, she learns to stand firm before she touches the sky. So I am also working on you. You think that nothing has changed because you have not yet seen the result. But I tell you, profound changes begin in places that the eyes do not reach. I'm already strengthening your patience. I am already maturing your faith. I am already teaching your soul to depend less on circumstances and more on my presence. My son, some answers took time because I was preparing your heart to receive them. You asked for a blessing, but I also prepared your shoulders to sustain it. You asked for an open door, but I also prepared your steps so as not to enter it carrying the same fears that could prevent you from staying. Don't compare yourself to other people's paths. The tree that grows the fastest does not always have deeper roots. Some grow quickly, but they can't withstand the strong winds. I'm more interested in building something firm inside of you than just delivering something fast into your hands. Look again at Joseph. Before ruling Egypt, he had to learn to rule his own emotions. Before he could run a nation, he had to learn to remain faithful when no one was watching. Before public honor, there was a secret process. My son, the place where no one sees you is also a place where I work. You think that people's silence means that your life has lost value, but I tell you, anonymity before man has never meant absence before me. I know every step you took while no one applauded. I know every right choice you made when it would be easier to give up. I know every moment you held on to your faith, even though you didn't understand the way. Psalm 37:7 says, "Rest in the Lord and hope in Him." My child, resting in me does not mean standing still. It means trusting as I continue to work. What you call delay, I call preparation. What you call silence, I call formation. What you call loss, I often turn into protection. Don't abandon the process because you haven't seen the full promise yet. Keep allowing me to strengthen your roots, because a life grounded in me is not destroyed by the first storm. My son. Right. Lord, I believe. And by liking this video, you take this word to another child who also needs to hear that he is not alone. My son, I want you to understand that what you can see today is only a small part of what I am doing. Your eyes see the present moment, but I see the paths that are being prepared, the connections that are being formed, and the details that have yet to be revealed. You think you know your whole story because you know the pages you have already lived, but I tell you, there are chapters that are still being written in the silence of my presence. You look at a door that has closed and ask why I allowed it. But I see the other side of that door. I know dangers that you have not noticed. I know ways that could hurt your soul. I know what your eyes desired, but it wouldn't be what your heart really needed. My son, you think you missed an opportunity, but I tell you, some closed doors were acts of care. You think that a farewell took something important from your life, but I tell you, some absences created space for new seeds to be planted within you. You think that delay means that I have forgotten what you asked for, but I tell you, I have never lost sight of your prayer. Notice a seed under the earth. No one sees her growing. No one applauds her as she breaks through the darkness. But inside her, there is a hidden force, a life waiting for the right moment to appear. This is what I do in you. I work in places where no one can touch. I strengthen areas of your soul that were tired. I illuminate thoughts that have been dominated by fear. I restore your sight so that you see not only what is before your eyes, but also what I am building in the unseen. You think you need all the answers to keep going, but I tell you, often, confidence grows just when you learn to walk holding my hand, without knowing all the details. Peter walked on the water as he looked at me. When he turned his eyes to the wind and the waves, he began to sink. My child, do not allow what happens around you to be greater than what I have already spoken to your heart. Matthew 14:30-31 shows this moment. But when he felt the strong wind, he was afraid, and he began to go to the bottom and cried out, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and took hold of him. I'm still holding your hand. You think you are walking alone down an unknown path, but I tell you, every step you take in faith reveals a part of the purpose that is already being formed. Do not leave the field because you have not yet seen the harvest. Don't give up on the seed because you haven't seen the tree yet. Do not close your heart because you have not yet understood the process. My son, I know the right time. I know the right station. I know the moment when that which has been cultivated in the secret will begin to reveal its fruits. If you believe that I am driving your story even when you can't see everything, write in the comments, I trust in your way. My son, I want you to know that I don't just see your wounds. I know the story behind each of them. There are marks in your soul that you have tried to cover with strength, with silence, and even with a smile, but before me nothing is hidden. You think you have to keep pretending it didn't hurt, but I tell you, I'm already touching the very places where you've learned to hide your sadness. I know that word that someone said that stuck in your memory for years. I know that moment when you were made to feel like you weren't important. I know the times when you have given love and received distance, offered care and received ingratitude. But my child, I want you to see something that you may never have realized. Your pain is no greater than my ability to restore. You think that experience destroyed a part of you, but I tell you, I am using even that which tried to hurt your identity to reveal the strength that I have put within you. A tree that faces strong winds doesn't just grow upwards, it deepens its roots. She learns to stand firm. It strengthens itself in the place where it once seemed like it would be knocked down. So, also, I am working in you. You think you have become weaker after all that you have endured, but I tell you, there are forces that were only born because you had to cross that valley. I didn't allow every tear to be shed without purpose. I didn't ignore every night you cried in silence. I haven't forgotten every moment when you had to take a deep breath and keep going, even without understanding how you could do it. I was there when you felt rejected. I was reminding your soul that your worth has never depended on people's approval. When you felt forgotten, I was strengthening within you an identity that cannot be destroyed by human opinions. When you thought no one saw your struggle, I was seeing every detail. My son, you think you need everyone to recognize who you are, but I tell you, before anyone recognized your name, I already knew your heart. David was in the field when he was chosen. While others looked at the appearance, I looked at that which was being formed within him. The field seemed like a place of oblivion, but it was a place of preparation. The silence seemed like abandonment, but it was a place of growth. The loneliness felt like a loss, but it was a place where his trust in me was being strengthened. My son, perhaps you are looking at your scars and seeing only memories of the pain, but I'm seeing signs of survival, marks of growth, and evidence that you've gone through moments that might have made you give up. I turn wounds into sources of compassion. I turn tears into seeds of understanding. I transform broken places into places where my light can enter. Don't be ashamed of what you've faced. Your story is not defined by what has tried to hurt you, but by what I am forming within you. Do not go now, my child. What follows has been kept especially for you, and it may be what will change what you believe about your future. My son, I know there are losses that you still try to understand. There are goodbyes that left questions unanswered and doors that closed in a way that hurt your heart. You looked at what came out of your hands and thought you were missing something important, but I want to reveal a deeper truth. Not everything that leaves your life represents a loss. You think you have lost, but I tell you, many times I was protecting. You think that a closed door was the end of an opportunity, but I tell you, some closed doors were my care preventing you from entering places that could hurt your soul. You couldn't see what was on the other side. You didn't know all the consequences. You did not know what paths could lead you away from the purpose I am forming within you. But I knew. My son, a child can cry when a father takes something from his hands without understanding that it could hurt him. She sees only the moment, but her father sees the danger that she still cannot perceive. So it happens to me. You look at a situation and ask, why did I allow this? But I see that which your eyes cannot reach. I see the beginning, the middle, and the end. I see that which you have lost and also that which I have preserved. You think I ignored your prayer because the answer didn't come as you expected. But I tell you, I was listening to every word. Some answers come as open doors. Others come as silent deliverances. Some blessings come through what you receive. Others come through that which I take from their path. My son, remember Lazarus. Those around him looked at the situation and thought that I had come too late. They saw death. They saw the end. They saw a closed story. But I saw an opportunity to reveal something greater. I wasn't late. I was leading that moment to a demonstration that no one expected. John 11:40 says, if you believe, you will see the glory of God. My son, you think that some areas of your life are lost, but I tell you, that which seems dead to you is still before my power. Do not limit my action by the size of the problem. Do not limit my presence for the time that has passed. Do not limit my ability by what your eyes can comprehend. I am the God who calls life where there is an appearance of an end. I am the one who opens paths in the wilderness and gives birth to springs in dry places. Maybe you're looking at an area of your life and thinking that there's no longer a solution. Perhaps you have put an end to where I am still working, but I tell you, not everything that seems closed is finished. There are seeds that are still waiting for the right moment to break through the earth. There are answers that are already being prepared in the unseen. There are restorations happening in places you can't yet notice. My child, trust in my care even when you don't understand the process. Trust my hand even when you don't see the way. State in the comments, I get that word, and by leaving your like, you help to take this message to another heart. My child, before I transform what is around you, I am touching what is within you. Because true change doesn't start in circumstances. It starts in the way your soul sees who you are. You think that you must first conquer something in order to believe in your worth. But I tell you, your worth was not born from your achievements. Your worth was born out of my love for you. You think that it is what happened in the past, but I tell you, your past is part of your history, but you have no authority to define your destiny. Many times you have carried names that other people have put on you. They said you couldn't do it. You were made to believe that your mistakes were greater than your ability to start over. They made you look at your failures and forget the seeds I planted within your heart. But I have never looked at you in this way. I don't just see the fall, I see the restoration. I don't just see weakness, I see the transformation that is already happening. I don't just see the moment when you messed up, I see all the moments when you chose to continue. My son, look at Peter. He walked with me, saw miracles, heard my voice, but there came a time when fear spoke louder, and he denied that he knew me. To human eyes, that could be the end of his story. But I didn't write the end at that time. While Peter was weeping over his failure, I was already preparing his restoration. While he believed he had lost his purpose, I was already revealing a new identity. After the fall, I didn't ask about his mistake. I asked about the love that existed in his heart. John 21:17 reveals, "Lord, you know all things. You know I love you. My son, I know your heart more deeply than you know yourself. I know where you fell. I know where you got hurt. I know where you still feel shame, fear, or insecurity. But I also know that which I have put within you. You think that a failure has erased your history, but I tell you, a fall does not cancel out what I am forming. You think you have arrived too late to start again, but I tell you, as long as there is life, I continue to work on your soul. An injured tree can still flourish, a wounded earth can still receive new seeds. A weary heart can still find renewal when it returns to my presence. My child, I am removing from you the identity created by pain and revealing the identity created by love. You are not the abandonment you suffered. You are not the rejection you received. You are not the mistake you made. You are someone I know, whom I see, and whom I continue to lead. I still write new chapters where you thought there were only blank pages. By liking this video and subscribing to this channel, you become an instrument in my hands, helping this word reach those who need to hear the most, who have not been forgotten. My son, I want you to see the waiting with different eyes, because often what seems like an empty space is just the place where I am working most deeply. You think nothing is happening because you have not yet seen the answer, but I tell you, there are movements happening in the invisible. Before a tree offers shade, its roots need to grow. Before a building can stand firm, its foundation needs to be prepared. Before a promise is revealed, the heart must be ready to carry it. My son, you look back on the time that has passed and ask, why hasn't it happened yet? But I look at that which is being formed within you and say, there is something being built. You think you have wasted time, but I tell you, I was preparing the ground. You think you were standing still, but I tell you, I was strengthening your roots. You think you were forgotten, but I tell you, I was working in places that no one can see. Waiting is not a place where your life is suspended. Waiting is a place where your soul learns, grows, and matures. Look at Noah. For years he built an ark while the sky remained without signs of rain. People could look at that work and think it was useless. They might ask him why he kept building something that didn't seem necessary yet. But Noah wasn't just building an ark. He was responding to a direction he received from me. He didn't need to see the rain to obey. He didn't need to understand all the details to continue. Hebrews 11:7 says, by faith, Noah, being warned of things not yet seen, feared, and for the salvation of his household, he prepared the ark. My son, there's a big difference between waiting without purpose and waiting trusting in me. When you wait with me, every day has meaning. Every tear teaches something. Each silence reveals something. Each process strengthens something within you. You think that delay is preventing your life from moving forward. But I tell you, some delays are preventing you from receiving something before you are ready to sustain. Because a blessing received at the wrong time can become a burden. A door opened before its time can reveal a person not yet strengthened to remain within it. I know the right time. I know the right heart. I know the right way. My son, do not abandon the seed because it is still under the ground. The seed is not dead because it is hidden. It is receiving everything it needs to break through the surface at the right time. I'm already working on your mind, strengthening your confidence, and healing the anxiety that tried to steal your peace. Do not allow haste to make you abandon that which I am carefully forming. Keep trusting, because the field where no one sees anything can be exactly the place where the greatest transformation is happening. But there is someone in your heart. Now, write that person's name in the comments. I hear every name you declare. My son, I want you to keep this truth within your heart. Your story is not being written just for the moments you understand. It is also being formed by the moments that you still cannot explain. You think your life is a meaningless sequence of events, but I tell you, there is an invisible driving happening in every detail. There are encounters that I have allowed. There are paths that I have redirected. There are deliverances that you never notice. There are doors that I closed because I knew what your eyes could not see. You look at some chapters and ask why they needed to exist, but I see how each part is connecting to form something greater. My son, a person looks at an isolated piece of a large drawing and cannot understand its beauty. He sees only a small part, a color, a form. But when all the pieces come together, the image begins to reveal what has always been built. Such is your walk with me. You see separate details, but I see the complete work. You think some things were accidental, but I tell you, my presence was in the details that seemed small. You think that some situations delayed your life, but I tell you, I was using even the difficult ways to strengthen your faith and prepare your soul. I was present before his first breath. I knew your days before you lived any of them. I knew their joys and their tears. I knew his questions and also the answers that would arrive at the right time. My child, do not allow a difficult phase to make you forget all the history that I have already built with you. You've been through storms you thought you couldn't handle. You've faced nights that didn't seem to end. You've carried weights that you thought were greater than your strength. But I was there, even when you didn't. Realize I was holding you up. Even when you didn't hear any answers, I was working. Even when it seemed that nothing changed, I was preparing something within you. Romans 8:28 states, "All things work together for good to those who love God." My child, this promise does not mean that everything will be easy. But it does mean that nothing needs to be wasted. When it is in my hands, I can use a tear to generate maturity. I can use a loss to reveal a new direction. I can use a hole to build a deeper faith. You think you need to understand everything in order to trust, but I tell you, trust is often the way that opens your eyes to understand. Keep walking with me. The seed does not know the tree it will become. The root does not see the shade it will one day offer, but each part of the process has its purpose. I'm still writing your story, and what seems like a difficult page today may be the very part that will reveal my faithfulness in a way you never imagine. Do not stop now, my child. What comes in the next few minutes may be the answer you've been seeking for so long, and I have saved it for this very moment. My son, I want you to learn to look at your life beyond what appears before your eyes, because many times you only look at the surface and believe that nothing is changing, but I am working in the depths. You think that silence means absence, but I tell you, silence is often the place where I prepare the greatest transformations. You think that the dark earth represents an end, but I tell you, it is precisely in the hidden that the seed begins to break through its old forms to give rise to something new. The seed does not understand the process through which it passes. She doesn't know that the pressure of the earth is helping her roots to grow. She doesn't know that what seems like darkness is the environment where her life begins to awaken. So it is with you. There are times when I allow you to go through phases where your vision is limited. Not because I have abandoned you, but because I am teaching your soul to trust me, even when your eyes find no signs. You think you have to see it to believe it, but I tell you, some of the greatest works I do begin before any evidence appears. I'm already strengthening your structure. I am already treating thoughts that weakened your walk. I am already removing old fears that prevented you from living freely. My son, you have asked for fruits, but I am taking care of the roots. Because a tree without deep roots can grow quickly, but it doesn't stay when strong winds come. I don't just want to deliver moments of joy to you. I am forming a firm life, a faith that does not depend only on good days. You think that the difficulty is delaying your arrival, but I tell you, some difficulties are preparing you to remain when that which so much awaits arrives. Observe a tree during the winter. To those looking from the outside, it seems that it has lost its strength. Its leaves have fallen, its branches seem empty, and its beauty seems hidden. But within it, there is movement, there is life, there is preparation for a new season. My son, do not judge your story by the appearance of the moment. You think that because some areas seem to be still, I have stopped acting, but I tell you, while you rest, I go on working. As long as you do not perceive external changes, I continue to strengthen the interior. Don't confuse depth with delay. The strongest roots are those that grew in places where no one could see. Don't confuse waiting with abandonment. The farmer does not abandon the seed because he does not yet see the harvest. He takes care of it, protects the land, and waits for the right time. So I take care of you. I know every season of your life. I know when to strengthen, when to prune, and when to allow new fruit to appear. Psalm 1:3 declares, "For he shall be like a tree, planted by rivers of water, which yieldeth its fruit in its season. Its leaves will not fall, and everything it does will prosper." My son, I am working in the secret, because that which is born in deep roots remains firm when the time comes to blossom. My son, I want you to understand something that your soul often forgets. Silence does not mean that I have stopped acting. Silence does not mean that I have turned away. Often, silence is the environment where I prepare that which your eyes cannot yet perceive. You think that because you did not hear an immediate answer, I did not hear your prayer, but I tell you, not a word that came out of your heart went unnoticed before me. I heard that prayer said, as you held back your tears. I heard that request that you repeated so many times that you thought it didn't make sense to keep talking. I heard the sigh that came before the prayer. I heard the silence after. Her. Because I don't listen only to words. I know the language of your soul. You think you need a great answer to make sure that I am near, but I tell you, my presence is also in the small details that often go unnoticed. I'm in that strength that appeared when you thought you couldn't continue. I am in that peace that came at a time when nothing around had changed. I am in that thought of hope that was born within you after a long period of fear. My child, you look for great signs, but sometimes I reveal my presence through small movements within your heart. A seed growing underground doesn't make a sound. It does not announce its growth. It doesn't attract attention as its roots deepen, but life is happening. So, also, I am working in you. You think the period of silence is an empty space, but I tell you, it is a place of transformation. While you are waiting for a change around, I am strengthening something within you. While you ask me to remove a difficulty, I am often forming a maturity that will make you go through that difficulty with a new vision. My son, a person without deep roots, can receive a great blessing and still not know how to stand firm. Therefore, before placing something in your hands, I prepare your heart to receive without losing its essence. I'm not just interested in changing your situation. I'm training you. I'm restoring your perception. I am teaching your soul to recognize my voice, even when all seems quiet. Remember Elijah. He sought my manifestation in the strong wind, in the earthquake, and in the fire. But I was also in the softness of a quiet voice. 1 Kings 19:12 declares, "And after the fire, a still, small voice." My son, my answer does not always come like a storm that moves everything around. Sometimes it comes as a soft light that starts within you and changes the way you see everything. Don't disregard the small signs. Don't ignore the simple moments. Don't think that because I am silent, I am distant. Dawn begins before the sun fully appears. The root grows before the fruit is seen, and I go on working in the places where your eyes do not reach. That word didn't come to you by chance. Write in the comments, I trust God, and let that be your act of faith for me today. My son, I know there are times when you feel that things are going out of place. You look at what has changed, what has left, and what has not happened as you expected, and within your heart, a sense of insecurity is born. You think you're losing control, but I tell you, you've never been out of my hands. That which seems like confusion to you is still under my care. What seems like an interruption can be a direction. That which seems like a loss may be the space I am opening for something deeper to be born. My son, you hold on to some things so tightly because you are afraid of the emptiness that will remain when they leave. But I see that which you cannot see. I know the weights you've carried for a long time. I know of connections that have trapped your soul. I know paths that seemed good, but that were preventing you from growing. You think that everything that remains needs to stay, but I tell you, some things need to be removed so that you can breathe again. A tree does not grow by just receiving. It also grows when it goes through the pruning process. The branch is cut off, but the tree is not being destroyed. Her appearance changes, but life continues inside her. The cut seems like a loss, but it carries a preparation for new fruits. So, also, I work in you. You think that I am taking something away to make your life empty, but I tell you, I am removing that which takes up space but does not feed your soul. I'm clearing old thoughts. I am breaking invisible prisons. I am freeing you from fears that you have learned to carry as if they were part of your identity. My son, some things you call part of me are just wounds that have become accustomed to remaining. But I know who you really are. John 15:2 says, every branch that bears fruit he cleans, that it may bear more fruit. Pruning does not happen because the tree has lost value. It happens because there is more fruit waiting to be born. You think you are being diminished, but I tell you, I am strengthening your structure. You think you are being broken, but I tell you, I am removing weaknesses that could hinder your growth. You think you are losing space, but I tell you, I am preparing depth. My son, do not be afraid of small beginnings and quiet processes. Great builds start with hidden foundations. No one sees the foundation of a house after it is finished, but it is the foundation that sustains all that remains. I'm taking care of the details of your story. Even what you have not understood can still reveal a greater purpose. Even that which has hurt your heart can become a place where my healing begins to blossom. Don't just look at what came out of your hands. Observe that which I am forming within you. Trust in my care, because I do not release a story that I am conducting myself. My son, if you are here, it is because I have allowed it. I have something to reveal to you later today. Don't leave before you've heard what's next. My son, I want you to look at your history with the eyes of restoration, not just with the eyes of pain. Because many times you have gone back to the past to remember what you have lost, but you have forgotten to look at what I have already transformed within you. You think that the marks that have remained are proof of failure, but I tell you, some marks are testimonies that you have crossed places where many would have given up. You think your scars diminish your value, but I tell you, they reveal that you have been healed of wounds that once seemed impossible to bear. My son, I do not erase your history. I redeem your story. I don't go back in time to pretend that nothing happened. I get in the middle of what happened and transform the meaning. That which once caused shame can become a source of wisdom. That which once generated fear can become a reminder of the strength I have placed within you. What once seemed like an end can become the beginning of a new understanding of who you are. You think your past has closed doors for you, but I tell you, your past is no greater than the purpose I have placed within you. Look at Moses. He carried a memory that could have destroyed his confidence. He had fled Egypt. He had left behind what he knew. He could have spent the rest of his life believing that his mistake had ended his story. But I did not see Moses only by the moment of flight. I saw the man who was being formed in the desert, while he tended the sheep away from people's eyes. I was preparing his heart to lead a nation. The desert seemed like a place of oblivion, but it was a place of transformation. Silence seemed like a punishment, but it was a place of preparation. Exodus 3:10 says, "Come now, therefore, and I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people out of Egypt." My son, when I called Moses, I did not ignore his past. I showed that his past had no power to stop the calling I had placed upon his life. So it is with you. You think that what has happened has disqualified you, but I tell you, I still see value where other people only see faults. You think your mistakes define your name, but I tell you, I know the identity I placed within you before any mistakes happened. I'm touching places in your soul where guilt has tried to take root. I'm bringing light to thoughts that made you believe it wasn't enough. I'm restoring the way you see yourself. My son, you are not just what you have lived. You are also that which I am forming. I don't waste tears. I don't waste processes. I do not waste experiences delivered into my hands. Even the difficult paths can become parts of history that reveal my faithfulness. I've been good at your life in ways you haven't even noticed. Write in the comments, "Amen," and proclaim with me my kindness to you. My son, I know how it hurts when you feel that no one realizes the effort that is behind what you do. I know the moments when you continued even though you were tired. I know the times when you chose to do the right thing when no one was looking. I know the battles that you won in silence and that no one knew how to celebrate with you. You think that because no one has seen it, it has had no value, but I tell you, that which is seen by me is never small. You think you need recognition to confirm that you are on the right path, but I tell you, your identity is not born from people's opinions. It is born from my gaze on you. There are people who only know their appearance, but I know their roots. There are people who observe your results, but I know the process which has led you to them. There are people who only see the moment when you have come, but I have seen every step you have taken when no one was near to encourage. My child, do not allow the lack of applause to make you forget the value of what I am building in you. David knew this place well. Before he was recognized before a nation, he was just a young man tending sheep in the field. While his brothers stood before the people, David was far from human eyes. It seemed like a forgotten place. It seemed like an unimportant place. But it was exactly there that I was forming a prepared heart. While David was learning to take care of small responsibilities, I was preparing him for bigger responsibilities. As he faced lions and bears away from the crowds, I was strengthening his courage. While no one knew his name, I already knew his story. My son, you think that the secret place is a place of backwardness, but I tell you, it is often the place where I build that which will remain. A tree with deep roots doesn't need to be admired all the time to keep growing. A seed does not need applause as it breaks through the earth. A work done in secret carries a strength that does not depend on human approval. Matthew 6:4 states, "Your Father who sees in secret will reward you." I see what no one sees. I see the intention behind your actions. I see the heart behind your choices. I see the tears that fell when you decided to continue. My son, do not despise the places where no one applauds. Don't despise simple days. Don't despise the moments when it seems like nothing is happening. I formed great stories in hidden places. Moses was in the wilderness, David was in the field, Joseph was in prison. But none of these places was able to stop what I had prepared. The secret is not the end of your story. The secret is where I strengthen your essence. You think you are invisible, but I tell you, you have never been out of my gaze. I'm taking care of details that you don't even notice. I'm strengthening areas that no one knows about. I am preparing a depth within you that will be able to sustain that which I am forming. This message is not for everyone, my son. If you are here, it is because I have chosen you to hear what comes next. Are you ready? My son, I know the nights that seem to have no end. I know those periods when you look around and wonder when change will finally come. I know the weight of waking up every day carrying the same questions, facing the same struggles, and trying to find a light along the way. But I want you to understand something profound. Darkness has never had the authority to stop the birth of dawn. You think that because it is still dark, the light is not coming. But I tell you, before your eyes perceive the sun, a new morning has already begun to form. Night does not disappear all at once. First, the sky begins to change. First, small marks of light appear on the horizon. First, what seemed completely dark slowly begins to lose strength. So it also happens within you. You think you need to see a great change around you to believe that something is happening, but I tell you, many of the greatest transformations begin in the place that no one else can observe. I'm working on the thoughts that tired your mind. I am strengthening the hope that has almost been extinguished. I am restoring areas of your heart that have been injured by long periods of waiting. My son, you look at the night and think only of the absence of light, but I look at the seed of hope that is still alive within you. You think that the difficulty has erased your joy, but I tell you it has only temporarily covered that which I am still awakening. A buried seed seems to be silent, but within it, there is a force waiting for the right moment to break through the earth. A hidden root seems to be doing nothing, but it is seeking depth to sustain that which will be born above the surface. So also I'm doing in your life. Don't despise periods when it seems like nothing happens. There are stations when I work more deeply within you than around you. David knew nights like this. He went through times when he had to flee, hide, and wait. He might have thought that his promise was too far away. He could have believed that the difficulties were greater than what I had prepared, but he learned that the night was a passage, not a destination. That is why he wrote at Psalm 35, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." My son, the night may touch your life, but it cannot define your story. Fear may visit your mind, but it cannot rule your soul. Sadness may be part of a season, but it does not have the final word. I am present on bright days and also on difficult days. I'm working when you realize it, and when you don't. I'm watching over you when your hands can hold everything, and also when you feel like you can't carry it anymore. The dawn has already begun within you. The light you seek outside, many times I have already begun to ignite within your heart. Continue to allow my presence to strengthen your roots, because that which I am quietly forming will be revealed at the right time. My son, I know that there are days when the silence around you makes you believe that you are walking alone. There are times when you look at the circumstances and feel as if no one understands the weight you carry. But I want to remind your soul of a truth that does not change. Feelings may change, situations may change, people may change, but my presence remains. You think that because you did not feel something extraordinary, I was distant, but I tell you, I was by your side at every step. I was on the day you woke up with no desire to continue. I was at the moment when you needed to be strong, even though you were tired. I was on that night when you closed your eyes trying to find rest, but your mind was full of worries. You did not see, but I was present. My child, you look for great signs of my presence, but I often reveal myself in the simplicity of ordinary moments. I am in the air you breathe. I am in the strength that appeared when you thought you would have no more strength. I am in that little hope that was born within you when all seemed lost. You think you need to feel my presence to know that I am near, but I tell you, my presence does not depend on your feelings. The sun continues to shine even when clouds cover the sky. The root continues to grow even when the earth hides its movement. So also I go on working even when your eyes do not perceive it. My son, look at the people of Israel in the wilderness. They walked a difficult path. There were days of tiredness, days of uncertainty, and days when they didn't know what the next step would be. But I never abandoned that walk. I was on cloud during the day. I was on fire at night. I was guiding every step, even when they didn't understand the process. Exodus 33:14 says, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." My son, I did not promise that you would never face deserts, but I promised that you would never cross a desert alone. You think that the difficulty is proof that I have moved away. But I tell you, it is often precisely in the desert that my presence becomes most profound. It is in silence that you learn to listen. It is in waiting that you learn to trust. It is on the difficult path that you discover that your strength comes not only from you, but from what I hold within you. My son, do not allow the size of the road to make you forget who walks beside you. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You're not lost. I know every turn of the way. I know every tear that has fallen. I know every battle you've faced without telling anyone. And as you keep walking, I keep holding your story with my hands. There are so many other children of mine who need to hear this now. By liking this video and subscribing to this channel, you become part of the chain that I use to bring my word to those who are on edge. My son, I know every prayer that has come out of your heart. I know those words that you managed to say out loud, and also those that were trapped inside your soul when the pain was so great that you lacked the strength to even speak. You think that a prayer without an immediate answer is a forgotten prayer. But I tell you, no word given to me disappears. No tear falls without me seeing. No sigh goes unnoticed before my eyes. You think that heaven has fallen silent because change has not yet appeared. But I tell you, silence does not mean forgetfulness. Often, silence is the place where I prepare that which you cannot yet understand. My son, you look at the clock and count the waiting time, but I look at the process that is going on within you. You count the days that have passed, but I see every moment when your faith has been strengthened. You remember the doors that have not yet opened, but I remember every time I held you up when you thought you could not go on. I was present in the tears you wiped away alone. I was present when you stepped aside for a moment to talk to me in secret. I was present when you looked at an impossible situation and yet decided to keep believing. My son, look at Anna. For years she carried within her a deep desire. She cried, prayed, and waited. To human eyes it seemed that nothing was happening. Perhaps many looked at their situation and thought there was no change. But I was listening. Before Samuel was in his arms, he was already present in my purpose. Before the answer was seen, prayer was already before me. 1 Samuel 1:27 says, I prayed for this child, and the Lord granted me my petition. My son, the time of waiting did not cancel out what I was doing. You think that the delay means that I have ignored you, but I tell you, some answers need to find a soul prepared to receive them. Because I am not only interested in delivering that which you have asked for, I'm also taking care of the person who will receive this response. You ask for an open door, but I also prepare your steps to pass through it. You ask for a change, but I also transform your way of seeing. You ask for a solution, but I also strengthen your heart, so that the solution is not just a moment, but a new season. My child, do not allow time to make you doubt my care. The seed does not cease to exist because it is still under the ground. The promise does not cease to exist because it has not yet appeared before your eyes. The root does not stop growing because you cannot see it. I'm working in places where your vision doesn't reach. I'm taking care of details you can't even imagine. I'm even using the waiting periods to bring you closer to me and reveal a depth that might never be born in an unchallenged walk. My son, stand firm. His tears were not ignored. His prayer was not forgotten. I was present in every moment of this journey. My son, I know the times when you look at yourself and think that you don't have enough capacity to go on. I know that voice inside you that tries to remember your flaws, your limitations, and everything that seems too small in the face of the challenges that are before your eyes. But I want you to understand a profound truth. I have never been limited by your weaknesses. You think that your limitation hinders my purpose, but I tell you, it is often precisely in the place where you feel weakest that my strength begins to be revealed. You think you need to be perfect to be used by me, but I tell you, I don't look for people without flaws. I look for hearts willing to trust in me. I'm not scared by your insecurities. I am not surprised by their moments of fear. I don't find out your limitations now because I already know every part of your story. And even though I know everything about you, I keep calling you. My child, you look at what is missing and forget what I have already placed within you. You look at the little seed in your hand and can't imagine the tree that might grow from it. You look at a simple beginning, and you cannot see the depth of what I am forming. But I see beyond. I see potential where you see fragility. I see growth where you see difficulty. I see purpose where you see only limitations. Look at Paul. He carried a weakness that often reminded him of his own addiction. He asked for it to be removed, but I showed him something greater. My grace was sufficient. 2 Corinthians 12:9 declares, "My grace is sufficient for you, because my power is made perfect in weakness." My son, I do not remove all obstacles, because some obstacles reveal parts of you that would remain hidden if the path were easy. Some battles reveal a faith you didn't yet know you had. Some difficulties reveal a force that was dormant within his soul. You think you need to be strong on your own, but I tell you, it is when you recognize your dependence on me that my strength finds room to act. A tree does not become strong because it has never faced winds. It becomes strong because its roots have learned to stand firm during storms. So also I am strengthening you. I am teaching your soul not to depend only on your own strength. I'm showing you that you don't have to carry everything yourself. My son, that part of you which you try to hide, I already know. That weakness which you are ashamed to admit, I already see. And yet I continue to look after you. You think your weakness is the end of your walk, but I tell you, it can be the place where you will discover a new depth of my presence. Do not shy away from the processes that reveal your dependence on me. Don't overlook the times when you realize you need help. Sometimes, it's just when your own strength runs out that you discover that you've never walked with them alone. If this video is providing answers you need to hear, write in the comment, "God cares for me," and prophesy this truth about your own life. My son, I know there are times when you look at your own walk and feel like you are just trying to get to the end of another day. I know that some mornings start with a battle inside your mind. You wake up carrying worries, memories, and responsibilities that seem greater than your strength, but I want to reveal something to your heart. You think you are just surviving, but I tell you, there's a new life being awakened within you. You think you are just resisting, but I tell you, I am strengthening your perseverance. You think you are just enduring a difficult phase, but I tell you, I am forming a depth in you that would not be born in times of ease. My son, you have been looking at what you have lost, but I am looking at what has been born within you during this journey. You may not realize it, but you are no longer the same person you were before the storms. The pain changed his perception. The weight strengthened his roots. Tears taught his soul to seek that which really remains. I didn't allow every difficult moment to pass without purpose. A seed seems small and unimportant when it is in the hands of someone who does not know what is inside. Yeah, but inside that little seed is an entire forest, waiting for the right time to reveal itself. So it is with you. You look at yourself and you see limitations, but I see possibilities. You see a history marked by hardship, but I see a life carrying signs of transformation. You see only what is happening now, but I see what is being built in the invisible. My son, do not despise the process you are going through. Gold does not reveal its beauty until it passes through the fire. The root does not reach depth without facing the resistance of the earth. Light is not perceived in the same way when there is only clarity around. It is often in the contrast to the darkness that you recognize the strength of that which I have placed within you. I am awakening your consciousness. I am renewing your hope. I am restoring your ability to believe again. You think that you have lost sensitivity because you have suffered a lot. But I tell you, I am healing your heart so that it can feel again without carrying the weight of the past. You think that life has taken away your joy. But I tell you, I am teaching your soul to find a joy that does not depend only on circumstances. My son, your story is not defined by what tried to bring you down. It is marked by my presence sustaining you. I was with you when no one noticed your struggle. I was with you when your strength seemed to run out. I was with you when the only thing you could do was keep going. And know this: continuing was also a form of faith. Sometimes the greatest sign of courage is not to run, it is to stay. It's not understanding everything, it's trusting even without seeing everything. What you call survival, I call transformation. What you call the end, I call a new beginning being formed. What comes next may be the exact signal you asked for. I saved it for this moment. Stay with me. My son, I know that there are wounds that still seem open within you. There are memories that, when they come back to your mind, make your heart feel again what happened. There are moments you'd like to erase, paths you wish you hadn't traveled, and words you wish you'd never heard. But I want you to understand something that changes the way you see your story. That which hurt you has no power to define you. You think that pain has stolen a part of your life, but I tell you, I am using even the broken places to reveal a new depth within you. You think the wound is the end of your story, but I tell you, the wound can become the place where my healing begins to blossom. My son, a tree that goes through a storm is not only known for the branches that have lost leaves, it is also known for the roots that remained firm as the winds blew. This is your journey. You look at that which has fallen, but I see that which has remained. You look at that which you have lost, but I see that which has ripened. You look at the marks of battle, but I see the strength that was born through it. I do not waste any moment given into my hands. I was present when you cried. I was there when you needed to start over. I was present when you didn't understand the reason for certain situations. But you still chose to continue. My son, remember Joseph. He could have allowed the betrayal of his brothers to create a prison within his soul. He could have lived all his days carrying resentment, believing that his identity would forever be marked by abandonment. But I was working first on his heart before changing his position. Before I got him out of physical prison, I was strengthening his inner freedom. Because a person can be in a difficult place and still carry peace, but it can also be in a comfortable place and carry a prison inside it. I wanted to free Joseph completely. Prison wasn't just a place where he was. It was also a place where I was forming maturity, wisdom, and dependence on me. My son, some battles you have faced have revealed parts of yourself that were hidden. The patience you didn't know you had. The courage you didn't know existed. The faith that was born just when all other securities disappeared. You think that the pain only took away, but I tell you, in many moments, the pain also revealed. She revealed what needed to be healed. She revealed what needed to be delivered. She revealed that her strength was never just in the circumstances, but in my presence sustaining you. Isaiah 61:3 states, to command those in Zion in mourning, that they be ornamented with ashes, oil of joy for sorrow, clothing of praise for a spirit of heaviness. My son, I am the one who enters the places where you only see ruins and starts a process of restoration. Don't just look at the scar, look at the root that has grown. Don't just look at what's been broken. Realize that which I am rebuilding within you. My son, I know there are times when the desert seems like a place where nothing happens. You look around and find no clear signs of change. You look for answers, you look for ways, and you look for a quick way out, but you often find only silence. But I want to reveal something to your heart. The desert is not a place where I forsake you. The desert is a place where I deepen what I am forming in you. You think you are far from the promise, but I tell you, you are being prepared to carry it. You think you are forgotten because no one is seeing your process, but I tell you, human eyes may not reach you, but my eyes have never ceased to follow every step. My son, There are works that I do away from the applause because some things need to be born first in the secret. A root that grows deeply does not appear on the surface. A strong foundation does not receive attention while it is being built. But it is what no one sees that sustains what everyone will see later. You want to get out of this season quickly, but I tell you, I am using this period to strengthen parts of you that will remain when the scenario changes. I'm working on your patience. I'm strengthening your confidence. I'm removing dependencies that made you put your security on things that can change. Because I want your faith to be grounded in me, not just in circumstances. Look at Moses. Before leading a crowd, he had to learn in the desert. Before he could speak before a king, he had to be transformed away from the palaces. For 40 years, he seemed to be living an ordinary story. But I was preparing someone for an extraordinary mission. The desert seemed backward, but it was training. It seemed like a distance, but it was preparation. It seemed like forgetfulness, but it was a profound encounter with me. David also knew hidden places. Before he stood before a throne, he stood before sheep. Before he was recognized by a nation, he learned to depend on me away from the eyes. My son, you think that the place where you are today is too small to have purpose, but I tell you, there is no small place when my hand is working. Even the desert blooms when I am present. Deuteronomy 8:2 says, "And you shall remember all the way by which the Lord your God led you in the wilderness these 40 years, to humble you and to prove you, to know what was in your heart." My son, I know the processes because I know the heart. I know what needs to be strengthened. I know what needs to be healed. I know what needs to be removed so that you can walk more freely. Don't despise this season. Don't think that your life is at a standstill just because you don't see fruit yet. The seed does not scream as it grows. The root does not appear while it is strengthening, but life continues to happen in the invisible. I am forming you away from human eyes because that which I build within, you must remain when the next season comes. There is something in your heart that you have not yet given me completely. Write in the comments what you're uploading. It could be a word, a request, a name. My son, I want you to stop for a moment and realize something that you often forget. I have never looked at you only for what you can do on your own. I never measured his worth by his strength, his ability, or the absence of flaws. You think that your limitations are barriers that prevent what I have placed within you. But I tell you, your limitations are no greater than my grace. You look at your hands and think they are too small. But I see that which can be born when you put everything before me. You look at your history and remember the times when you failed, but I see the times when you stood up. You look at your insecurities and think that they defeat your purpose, but I tell you, I already know all of them, and yet I continue to work on you. My son, I do not choose only those who seem ready to human eyes. Often, I choose those who recognize that they need me. Because when you understand that you do not depend only on your own strength, you make room for my strength to be revealed through your life. See Gideon. He was hiding, just trying to survive the moment he faced. He saw himself as someone small, someone unimportant, someone who would not have the capacity to accomplish something big. But when I looked at him, I didn't just see the hidden man. I saw the identity that was being formed. I saw the courage that was still dormant. I saw what he still couldn't see in himself. That is why I said in Judges 6:12, "The Lord is with thee, O mighty man of valor." My son, notice something profound. I didn't call Gideon brave because he already felt strong. I called him that because I knew what my presence would do in him. You think that you must first become strong and then walk with me. But I tell you, it is by walking with me that you discover the strength that I have already put within you. You think your small beginnings are of no importance, but I tell you, every great tree was once a little seed. The seed does not look like a forest. The beginning does not seem like the final destination. The first step does not reveal the entire path. But within what seems small, there is a life waiting to grow. My son, do not despise what I have placed in your hands. Don't despise its history. Don't despise small advances. Don't despise the moments when you choose to continue even without feeling prepared. I am working on your consciousness. I'm changing the way you see yourself. I'm pulling out thoughts that made you believe it wasn't enough. Because often the biggest challenge is not what is in front of you, but what you believe about yourself. You think it is just a small seed, but I see a tree which is still growing. My child, I want you to understand a truth that can change the way you look at periods of silence. The absence of visible signs does not mean the absence of my presence. You think that because you cannot see movement, nothing is happening. But I tell you, there are works that I do first in the secret, before revealing before your eyes. Nature teaches this. A seed disappears into the ground before it shows its first leaf. To human eyes it seems that she has been forgotten, but within her there is a force working silently. The root grows without applause. Life is formed without noise. Growth happens away from the eyes of those who wait for the result. So also I am working in you. You think silence is an emptiness, but I tell you silence can be the place where I prepare the greatest answers. You think that delay means that I have stopped. But I tell you, many times I'm preparing something that needs time to mature. My son, you have a tendency to look only at what appears on the surface. You observe closed doors, situations that have not changed, and paths that seem blocked. But I look at the roots. I see what is being strengthened. I see that which is being healed. I see that which is being transformed within you as you wait. You want to see the tree ready, but I am taking care of the seed. You want to see the fruit, but I am strengthening the root. You want to understand the result, but I am working on the process. Remember Jesus in the tomb. In the eyes of the people, everything seemed finished. Those who followed his death believed that hope was gone. They saw a closed stone. They saw an end. They saw a story closed. But I was working when no one could see. The tomb looked like a defeat, but it was the setting where the greatest victory would be revealed. The stone looked like a blockage, but it would be witness to a new beginning. Matthew 28:6 says, "He is not here, for he is risen, as he had said. My son, that which seems dead to human eyes is still subject to my power." You think that some areas of your life have come to an end, but I tell you, don't put an end to where I am still writing. You think that a closed door means rejection, but I tell you, a few closed doors protect the way I am preparing. You think that a long wait means abandonment, but I tell you, some waits hold revelations that can only be born at the right time. Do not bury that which I am still vivifying. Do not give up on what I am still forming. Do not allow the appearance of the moment to rob you of what happens in the unseen. Dawn always seems impossible during the darkest night, but the night has never been able to prevent the arrival of morning. I continue to work. I continue to take care of it. I continue to lead your story. You were reached because you were chosen. Write in the comments, God has chosen me, and live that truth every day. My child, I know that there are times when you look back and feel like returning to that which has already passed. You remember old phases, people, places, and versions of yourself that seem to have been better than the present you are living. But I want to reveal something to your heart. Not everything that was left behind was the destination I had prepared for you. You think you need to go back to regain that which you have lost, but I tell you, I am leading you to discover that which has not yet been revealed. You think that your best version is stuck in the past, but I tell you, I am forming a new identity within you. My son, a tree does not become a seed again after it grows. She does not look back wishing to return to the beginning. It keeps moving forward, creating new branches, producing new fruit, and revealing what was hidden within it. So it is with you. I'm not calling you to come back. I'm calling you to mature. You think that some changes have robbed you of who you were, but I tell you, some changes have removed only that which prevented you from seeing who I created you to be. There are old versions of you that were born out of pain, fear, and circumstance, but there is a deeper identity that was born of my purpose. I know this identity. I know the heart I put inside you. I know the capacity that is still being awakened. Look at Abraham. he received a call that required movement. He had to leave what was known to walk towards something he could not yet see. He had a land, he had a story, he had a structure built, but I was calling him to something greater. Genesis 12:1 states, "Go out of your country, from your kindred, and from your father's house, to the land that I will show you." My son, Abraham, had to leave some things behind because he could not live a new history carrying old structures. In the same way, there are times when I allow changes because some things cannot keep up with what I am forming in you. You think that some goodbyes are just losses, but I tell you, some goodbyes are invitations to grow. You think that a few closed doors mean that it is over, but I tell you, some doors need to close in order for your steps to find a new direction. I'm not erasing your history. I'm redeeming each chapter. I'm not rejecting what you've experienced. I am using every experience to form wisdom, maturity, and depth. My son, don't be afraid to become someone new. The caterpillar needs to leave an old shape to reveal what it was carrying hidden. The seed needs to break through its own structure to become what it was created to be. And you are also going through a process of transformation. I'm already touching your mind. I am already restoring your perception. I am already showing that your identity is not tied to what happened, but grounded in me. Maybe you've been waiting for an answer for a long time, and this message has been chosen by me to reveal something profound to you. Stay. My son, I know that some closed doors have left marks on your heart. I know you have looked at certain opportunities that have not happened and wondered why I allowed it to be stopped. You imagine different paths. You've created scenarios in your mind. You thought about what your life might have been like if that door had remained open. But I want to reveal something profound. Not every closed door is a loss. Some closed doors are a form of protection. You think I have denied something that was good for you, but I tell you I know that which is beyond that door. You see only the entrance. I see the whole way. You see only the beginning of an opportunity. I see all the consequences that you don't know yet. My son, there are places where you have asked to enter, but I knew that environment could weaken your soul. There are paths that seemed right in your eyes, but that could lead you away from what I was forming within you. You think you have been rejected, but I tell you, in many moments, you have been protected. A father holds a child's hand as he tries to cross a dangerous path. The child may think that he is being prevented from doing something he wants, but the father sees what he cannot yet understand. Such is my care for you. I don't close doors to hurt you. I close doors when I know dangers that your eyes can't perceive. My son, look at Paul. He had plans and paths that he wanted to follow. He wanted to announce my word in certain places, but I directed his steps in a different way. To human eyes, that might seem like an impediment. It felt like an interruption. It seemed like a difficulty, but it was direction. Acts 16:6-7 reveals that they were prevented by the Spirit from proclaiming the word in certain places. My son, even the paths that didn't happen were being used to lead Paul to the right place. You think that an obstacle always means that you are on the wrong path, but I tell you, some barriers are my hand guiding you in a better direction. You think you have to fight to keep all the doors open, but I tell you, some doors don't need to be kept. They need to be given to me, because when you try to control all the paths, you carry a weight that you were never created to carry. Trust in my care, trust in my time, trust in my vision. I know what you want, but I also know what you really need. I'm not just leading you to better places. I am forming a person who is more prepared to stay in these places. Sometimes a closed door is the space where I prepare a new direction. Sometimes an answer that hasn't come is deliverance that you haven't yet understood. Sometimes what seemed like a loss was a seed of protection planted in your path. My child, do not allow a closed door to make you doubt my love. I continue to guide your steps. I continue to take care of the details. I keep writing your story, even when you don't understand every move. This message has reached you, and it can reach other children of mine. By subscribing to this channel and liking this video, you help my word reach more hearts. My son, I know tears that fell in places where no one was looking. I know those times when you tried to stand strong in front of people, But when you were alone, you felt the weight of everything you were carrying. I saw every tear. I listened to every prayer offered in silence. I noticed every time you took a deep breath and decided to continue, even without understanding the path. You think those moments were just suffering, but I tell you, even your tears bore seeds. There are things that are only born after a difficult season. There are depths that only appear after someone has crossed a valley. There are forces that are only discovered when all other sources of security seem to disappear. My son, you look at some experiences and ask why you had to go through that. You look back at the old pains and wish they had never happened. But I tell you, I do not waste that which is delivered into my hands. I don't erase your history. I transform the meaning of it. You think that phase only took away from you, but I tell you, it also left within you an understanding that you would not have otherwise. You think that the wound only brought sadness, but I tell you, from it can be born a compassion that reaches people you never imagined helping. A seed does not choose the land where it will be planted, but when it finds the right care, it can bear fruit. So also I work in your life. The land of pain is not the end of your story. The valley is not the final destination. The tear is not the last word. Psalm 126:5 states, "Those who sow with tears will reap with joy." My son, I know every seed you planted while crying. I know every attitude of faith you took when you didn't feel like it. I know every moment when you chose to stand when it would be easier to give up. You think nobody has noticed, but I have realized. You think that nothing good could come out of that phase, but I tell you, I was using that period to deepen your roots. Because a person who has never faced a storm may not understand the strength he possesses. But the one who crosses the rain and remains discovers a resistance that was hidden within his own soul. My son, do not despise your walk. Don't be ashamed of the difficult chapters. Don't hide the marks that show you've been to places where your faith has been tested. I can turn old pains into sources of hope. I can use what has hurt you to bring healing to other hearts. I can take a story marked by tears and reveal in it signs of my faithfulness. The same hand that allowed you to cross the valley is the hand that sustains you as the harvest begins to grow. You can't see all the fruit yet, but the seed has already been planted. And as you continue to walk with me, I continue to transform what seemed only a pain into something that will reveal my grace. My child, I want you to remember a truth that the world tries to make you forget every day. You don't have to achieve something to become valuable in my eyes. You think you need to get somewhere in order to be worthy of love. But I tell you, before any step, before any victory, before any recognition, you are already loved by me. You think your worth increases when people recognize your capabilities, but I tell you, your worth was not born of human approval. The world looks at results. The world observes positions. The world measures stories by visible achievements. But I look at the heart. I see what no one sees. I know your intentions before your actions appear. I know your struggles before anyone notices your efforts. I know your essence before anyone tries to define who you are. My son, you spent a lot of time trying to prove that you were enough. You tried to show your strength. You tried to hide your weaknesses. You have tried to carry responsibilities in order to receive acceptance. But I want to free your soul from that weight. You don't have to prove yourself to me. You don't have to chase after my love. You don't have to build a perfect picture for me to look at you. I already know you completely. And even though I know every part of your story, I continue to call you son. Jeremiah 1:5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you came out of the womb, I sanctified you." My son, before anyone knew your name, I already knew you. Before anyone recognized your talents, I had already planted seeds within you. Before anyone saw their capabilities, I already saw the purpose that was being formed. You think that your identity is in your achievements, but I tell you, your achievements are only parts of your history. They will never be the source of your value. A tree does not become valuable only when it produces fruit. It already has life before the first harvest. The seed already carries potential before it breaks through the earth. So it is with you. You already carry value before you achieve what you want. You already have importance before you receive applause. You are already seen by me before you are recognized by men. My son, do not allow the results of a season to define who you are. There are times when you produce a lot. There are times when you just put down roots. But in all seasons, I continue to look after you. You think you are standing still because you have no great achievements to show. But I tell you, some of the greatest works happen within you before they appear outside. I am restoring your vision of yourself. I'm removing words that hurt your identity. I am reminding your soul that you belong to me. Few get to this point in the message, my son. But you arrived, and that's no accident. What follows was reserved for those who persevered. My son, I know there are times when you feel you have reached your limit. There are days when getting up and continuing seems to require a strength that you believe you no longer possess. I know that tiredness that doesn't appear in the body but weighs on the soul. I know that silent battle you face as you try to show everyone you're okay. But I want to remind you of one truth, that you have never walked in your own strength alone. You think you have reached the end of your capabilities, but I tell you, my presence sustains you beyond what your own hands can carry. You think you have nothing left to offer, but I tell you, there is still a strength being renewed within you. My son, I don't expect you to be strong alone. I don't call you to carry all the weights unaided. I call you to allow my grace to sustain every step. A tree does not stand firm only by the strength of its branches. It remains because its roots find depth and receive what it needs to continue. So it is with you. You look at your limitations and think that they define how far you can go, but I see a life sustained by my hand. You look at tiredness and think it means the end, but I tell you, sometimes tiredness is the place where you find that you need to depend more on me. My son, I know every time you have needed to take a deep breath to continue. I know every moment you smiled on the outside while fighting on the inside. I know every battle you have won without receiving recognition. And I was present in all of them. Isaiah 41:10 declares, "Fear not, for I am with thee. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I strengthen you, and I help you, my son." This promise does not mean that you will never face difficult times. It means that we affirm that no difficult time will be greater than my presence by your side. You think you need to find hidden strength within yourself to win, but I tell you, there is a source of strength that is born when you trust in me. I am renewing your hope. I'm strengthening your mind. I am bringing rest to areas of your soul that have been tired for too long. You think you need to understand how you will be able to continue tomorrow, but I tell you, receive the strength you need for today's step. The light of a path does not have to illuminate the entire road at once. Sometimes it only reveals the next step, and that's how I lead you. One step at a time, one win at a time, one renewal at a time. My son, do not look only at what still remains to be done. Look also at all that I already held as you walked. You have come this far because my hand has been with you. You went through days that you thought you couldn't stand, because I was strengthening you in the unseen. And as you keep going, I keep pouring out on your life what you need to stand firm. My son, I know there are times when you look back at your walk and feel like you've reached the last chapter. You observe what you have lost, what has changed, and what has not yet happened. And within your heart, there is the feeling that there is nothing left to hope for. But I want to reveal something profound to you. That which seems like an end in your eyes may only be a transition to something that you cannot yet see. You think the last page has come, but I tell you, I am still writing. You think that a closed door means that there is no more way, but I tell you, I am the one who opens paths where no one sees possibility. My son, you know only the present moment, but I know the whole story. You see a small part of the road, but I see the whole route. You see the night, but I see the dawn which is already being prepared. You see the buried seed, but I see the tree that will grow out of it. Don't let a rough patch convince you that it's all over. Remember Abraham. He was promised when circumstances seemed to say otherwise. He had to walk trusting in something he could not yet touch with his hands. Remember Joseph. He went through a prison that seemed to be the closure of his dreams. But that place was not the end. It was a passage to that which I had prepared. Remember Lazarus. There was a situation that seemed completely over, but what people called impossible stood before my power. My son, I am not limited by the chapter where you are. I'm not limited by the diagnosis you've received. I'm not limited by the losses you've faced. I'm not limited by the time that has passed. You think that time has erased your possibilities, but I tell you, time in my hands can turn into preparation. You think that some opportunities are behind you, but I tell you, I know paths that you have not yet imagined. I'm working on details that you don't realize. I'm connecting parts of your story that seemed meaningless. I am using old experiences to form a new perception within you. My son, a difficult page does not define the entire book. A winter season does not mean that spring has ceased to exist. A long night does not mean that the sun has lost its place. I continue to be the God who restores, renews, and leads. Isaiah 43:19 declares, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it shall come to light. Do you not perceive it? My son, perhaps you do not yet realize all that I am doing, but that does not mean that nothing is happening. The root grows before the fruit appears. The morning begins before the sky becomes clear. Transformation begins before the eyes can recognize it. Trust the process that I am conducting. Don't close your heart because of a difficult chapter. Don't abandon your hope for the sake of a temporary phase. I'm still writing. I'm still driving. I'm still revealing what your eyes can't yet see. If this message is confirming what you already felt in your heart, write in the comments. I trust in God's action. My son, I want you to understand something that often goes unnoticed by the human heart. I have never lost control of your story. When you looked at the events and saw only confusion, I saw a construction going on. When you saw only delays, I saw preparation. When you saw only losses, I saw paths being adjusted. You think things took their time because I wasn't acting, but I tell you often the deepest movement happens before any change appears. A tree doesn't just grow when its branches appear. Before that, there is a hidden work going on underground. The roots are strengthened in silence. The structure prepares itself away from the eyes. Life moves even when the surface seems to remain the same. So it is with you. You think you are standing still, but I tell you, I am strengthening areas of your life that you do not yet realize. I'm working on your maturity. I'm transforming the way you see it. I am preparing your heart to not only receive, but also recognize that which is being formed. My son, you often ask for a change around you, but I start a change within you. Because a new season requires a new perception. You can't go into a new chapter completely carrying the same thoughts, the same fears, and the same insecurities that belong to the previous chapter. Therefore, there are processes that seem slow, but are producing depth. You think that I have forgotten your prayer because you have not yet seen the answer. But I tell you, I know every word that you have given to me. You think your waiting was empty, but I tell you every moment was also forming you. Look again at Lazarus. People looked at that situation and concluded that there was no more hope. For them, time had passed. The scenario seemed closed. The stone was laid. But they did not know what I knew. They saw the end. I saw an opportunity to reveal my glory. They saw a closed story. I saw a manifestation that was yet to be revealed. John 11:43-44 states, "And when he had said this, he cried with a loud voice, 'Lazarus, come forth.' And the dead man came out. My son, I am not limited by the point where people say it is over. I'm not limited by human diagnosis. I am not limited by circumstances that seem impossible. That which is beyond the reach of your hands remains completely within my care. You think you have wasted time, but I tell you, I was preparing the ground. You think nothing has changed, but I tell you, There are changes happening in the place where no one can observe. The seed does not announce when it begins to break through the earth. The light does not warn when it begins to overcome the darkness. But both are acting. Don't despise the silent chapters of your life. Don't think that silence means abandonment. Don't confuse waiting with absence. I was present on the days you didn't understand. I was present at the doors that did not open. I was present at the moments when you thought you were walking alone. And all that I was doing in the unseen was preparing your soul to understand that which is yet to be revealed. My son, I know there are times when you look at what is behind you and feel as if a part of your history has been taken away. You look at plans that didn't happen, paths that changed, and situations that didn't go back to the way they were before. But I want you to see beyond what your eyes can reach. You think that because some things have been removed, everything has been lost. But I tell you, that which I have placed within you is still alive. You think that the end of a phase means the end of the purpose, but I tell you, some cycles need to end so that a new season can be born. My son, a tree during the winter looks different. Its leaves fall, its appearance changes, and its branches look lifeless. But no one who knows nature believes that the tree died just because a difficult season arrived. There is life hidden in the roots. There is movement happening in silence. There is an invisible preparation for the time when new fruits will appear. So it is with you. You look at that which you have lost, but I see that which has remained. You look at the doors that have closed, but I see the seed that remains within you. You look at that which you cannot recover, but I see that which I am still forming. My son, you are not defined by what has come out of your life. You are defined by what I have placed within your soul. People can leave. Circumstances may change. Plans can take new paths. But that which is born of my purpose does not depend on the stability of things around us. Look at Noah. He saw a world being transformed before his eyes. Everything he knew disappeared. Places, structures, and an ancient way of living have been left behind. But inside the ark was a seed of continuity. Life was preserved. There was a new story waiting for the right moment to begin. Noah could have looked only at that which was lost, but I was looking at that which would be rebuilt. Genesis 8:22 states, "As long as the earth remains, sowing and harvesting, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will not cease. My son, I continue to be the God of cycles. I know the times to plant. I know the times of waiting. I know the times to take away what has already fulfilled its function to make room for something new. You think I have allowed certain losses to leave a void, but I tell you, I often remove that which takes up too much space for the right seed to grow. A land full of stones cannot deeply receive a new plantation. Some things need to be taken away for their roots to find freedom. I'm taking care of the roots of your life. I am strengthening that which does not depend on circumstances. I am preserving within you that which time, difficulties, and changes cannot destroy. Don't just look at absence. Look at the presence of that which I have kept alive. The seed is still there. The promise still carries life. And what I have planted in you continues to grow in the invisible. My son, I know your need to understand every detail of the path. I know how your mind looks for answers when something doesn't go as you imagine. I know how you try to put the pieces together, understand the reasons, and find an explanation for each situation you go through. But I want to teach your heart something. Not everything I do needs to be understood immediately in order to be trusted. You think you need to know the whole way before you can take the next step, but I tell you, often the next step is precisely that which reveals the way. You think that lack of answers means lack of direction, but I tell you, my presence continues to guide you, even when your eyes cannot see the whole road. My son, a child holds his father's hand without knowing all the places where he will go. He does not need to understand every turn of the way to trust the one who leads him. In the same way, I desire that your soul rest in me. You want the full map. You want to know all the details. You want to understand how each situation will end. But I often deliver just enough light for the next step, not because I want to hide anything from you, but because I am teaching you to walk by trust and not just by vision. Look at Abraham. When I called him, he did not receive all the details of the journey. He did not know every difficulty he would face. He didn't know all the places he would pass. He was given direction, and he decided to trust. Hebrews 11:1 states, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." My son, faith is not born when everything is explained. Faith is born when you choose to remain with me, even when there are still questions. You think mystery means something is wrong, but I tell you, mystery often reveals that my wisdom is greater than your understanding. You see a small part of the story. I see the whole book. You see a closed door. I see the protection behind it. You see a wait. I see a preparation. You see a pause. I see a movement happening in the invisible. My child, do not allow the need to understand everything to steal the peace that I am already placing within you. There are times when the answer does not come first in the form of an explanation. It comes in the form of transformation. You notice that you are stronger. You notice that your view has changed. You realize that what once destroyed your peace no longer has the same power over you. And then you understand that I was already working. I was already taking care of it. I was already driving. The seed does not understand the process while it is underground. She just keeps getting what she needs to grow. And then, at the right time, what was hidden is revealed. So it is with your life. I'm working in places where your perception doesn't reach. I am strengthening areas of your soul that you didn't even know needed to be strengthened. I'm revealing a deeper trust, a trust that doesn't just depend on what your eyes can see. In the next few minutes, my son, I will show you something that can be a direct sign from me for your life. Don't leave now, my son. I know the battles you have faced and the times when it seemed that what happened would be greater than what I have put within you. I know the situations that tried to convince your heart that pain would have the last word. But I want to reveal something profound. No circumstance has the authority to erase what I have established in your life. You think that what happened defined your future, but I tell you, my redemption is greater than any attempt at destruction. You think that a wound determined who you would be, but I tell you, I am still revealing the identity that I placed within you before any battle came. My son, some struggles tried to touch your mind, your hope, and your perception of yourself. Some words tried to take root in fear within your heart. Some situations made you look at your own history and think that the purpose had been interrupted. But I tell you, that which I begin, no force can prevent. Look at Joseph. If he had only looked at the time when his brothers sold him, he might have believed that his life had been destroyed. He could have seen only the betrayal. He could have seen only the injustice. I could have seen only the abandonment, but I was seeing beyond. While he saw a grave, I saw a preparation. As he saw a prison, I saw a way. While he saw loss, I saw a mission being formed. My son, you think that some things have happened to finish you off, but I tell you, some of them have been transformed by me into parts of your construction. Genesis 50:20 states, "You meant evil against me, but God has made it good." This truth does not mean that the pain did not exist. It means that the pain has not had final control. You passed through the valley, but the valley did not possess your identity. You have weathered the storm, but the storm has not determined your fate. You have known difficult moments, but they have not been greater than my presence sustaining you, my son. I did not promise that you would never face battles. I promised that I would never abandon you in the midst of them. The presence of a difficulty does not mean absence of my care. Sometimes it is precisely in the most difficult places that you notice a strength that was not born only from you. You think you were alone when it all happened, but I tell you I was holding you every step. I was strengthening his faith. I was protecting his essence. I was preventing what happened outside from destroying what I put inside. My child, do not allow the past to speak louder than my voice. Don't let a difficult phase be bigger than the promise I carry about your life. I am an expert in transforming scenarios of pain into places of revelation. I turn deserts into encounters. I turn tears into learning. I turn wounds into testimonies. And that which tried to make you stop can become the place where you will discover a depth you have never known before. My son, I know there are times when you look back at who you were before and you feel a mixture of longing and sadness. You remember old phases, old dreams, and old versions of yourself, and you think that maybe that time was better. But I want to reveal something to your heart. Not everything that is left behind needs to be recovered. You think you need to go back to who you were, but I tell you, I am revealing who you were created to be. My son, some old versions of you were born just as a response to the circumstances you faced. Some ways of thinking came from wounds. Some attitudes were born of fear. Some choices were made trying to just survive. But I don't just want to return you to the past. I want to take you to a depth you haven't known yet. You think you have lost your identity, but I tell you, I am removing layers that have hidden that which I have put within you. Transformation doesn't always seem like an achievement at first. At times it feels like a farewell. Sometimes it feels like a phase of uncertainty. Sometimes it feels like you're leaving a part of yourself behind. But, my son, a seed needs to break through its own structure to reveal the life it carries. The caterpillar does not fully understand the process while it is undergoing the transformation. She just feels that something is changing. But what seems like a loss of form is actually a preparation for a new expression of life. So it is with you. You think you are losing who you were, but I tell you, you're leaving behind that which limited your vision. You think you are being transformed into someone different, but I tell you, I am revealing that which was already within you. I'm not erasing your history. I am redeeming your experiences. I am using every learning, every battle, and every phase to form a person more aware of my presence. My son, look at a tree. It does not always remain the same. It grows, loses leaves, faces different seasons, and remains the same tree. Change does not destroy its essence. The change reveals his maturity. You're also going through seasons. There are parts of you that need rest. There are thoughts that need to be renewed. There are fears that need to lose control over your soul, because I don't just want to change what's around you. I am touching that which exists within you. 2 Corinthians 3:18 states, "But we all, with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are changed from glory to glory." My son, observe this truth. Transformation happens in stages. You don't have to become everything in a single moment. I'm leading you from one phase to another. I'm forming a new perception. I'm teaching you to see more wisely. I'm showing that your worth isn't stuck in the past and that your identity doesn't depend on the old versions you left behind. Do not be afraid of the change that happens within you. Do not resist the growth that I am producing. The seed that remains intact never reveals the forest it carries. And I am awakening in you that which was created to flourish, my child. I know the desire that exists within you to see changes happening around you. I know the prayers you said asking for situations to be resolved, for people to change, for doors to be opened, and for circumstances to be transformed. I know how you wait for external signs that confirm that something new is happening. But I want to reveal a deep truth to your heart. Often the first answer I deliver doesn't appear outside of you. It starts within you. You think you need everything around you to change in order to find peace, but I tell you, I am restoring your soul so that you can find peace, even while some things are still being transformed. You think you need a new reality to breathe again, but I tell you, I am already creating a new perception within you. My son, a house can have the same walls, but when the light comes in, everything starts to be seen in a different way. So it is with your life. Sometimes I don't change the scenery first because I am strengthening the one who is within the scenery first. I work on the root before touching the fruits. I take care of the source before transforming what it feeds. because a wounded soul can receive a great blessing and still not be able to fully enjoy it. So I start in the place where no one can reach. I start in the heart. I start with thoughts. I start in the hidden areas of your consciousness. My son, you may not have realized it, but some things inside you are already changing. That which used to take away your peace no longer controls you in the same way. What once seemed impossible to bear no longer has the same weight. The way you look at your story is being transformed, and this is also restoration. Look at David. Before he was known as king, he was trained in the countryside. Before the crown, there was silence. Before the recognition, there were battles that no one saw. It was in the simple place, tending the sheep, that I taught David to trust me. He didn't become dependent on me only when he came to the palace. He learned to depend on me when no one was looking. My son, you think that the difficult places have delayed your life. But I tell you, some places have been schools where your soul has learned that which no conquest could teach. Psalm 51:10 declares, "Create in me, O God, a clean heart, and renew in me a right spirit." This prayer reveals something powerful. Before asking for an outward change, David asked for an inward transformation, because he understood that a restored heart can get through any season. My son, I'm already touching places within you which no one else can reach. I'm healing thoughts that you've never told anyone. I'm strengthening areas that seemed weakened. I am bringing light to places of your soul that have been hidden for too long. Don't despise what's going on inside you just because it hasn't appeared outside yet. The root is invisible before it bears fruit. The morning begins in silence before lighting up the sky. Restoration often begins in the secret, before it is perceived on the surface. At the end of this message, you will feel my presence in a way that you may never have felt before. Stay with me until the end. My son, I know that waiting may seem like one of the greatest trials for the human heart. I know that there are times when you look back and think about everything that could have happened, all the days that have passed, and all the answers that have not yet arrived in the way you imagined. But I want to show you a different perspective. You counted time by delay, but I counted time by growth. You looked back on the days when nothing seemed to change, but I watched every silent transformation happen within you. You thought you were standing still, but I tell you, while your eyes did not perceive movement, your soul was being strengthened. My son, not all growth happens before your eyes. Some of the greatest constructions begin in hidden places. A root grows before the tree offers shade. A seed remains underground before anyone admires its beauty. A child learns steps before running. There is a process between the beginning and the manifestation, and this process is also part of what I'm forming in you. You think you have wasted time, but I tell you, I was using each season to prepare your maturity. You think those years were wasted, but I tell you, I was teaching your soul to stand firm. You think that the doors took a long time to open, but I tell you, I was strengthening your hands to sustain that which would come. My son, if I delivered some answers ahead of time, perhaps you would receive what you asked for, but you would not yet have the necessary structure to remain. Therefore, some waits are not denials. Some waits are protection. Some waits are training. I'm not just interested in the destination you want to reach. I'm also taking care of the person you'll become along the way. Look at Jesus. Before he revealed his ministry to the world, he lived years of preparation. There was a time of silence. There was a hidden time. There was a time when few knew what I was forming. Luke 2:52 states, "And Jesus kept growing in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and men." My son, even Jesus went through a period of growth before the manifestation. Silence did not mean a lack of purpose. The occult did not mean unimportance. Preparation was part of the mission. So it is with you. You think that the moments when no one saw were worthless moments, but I tell you, the places where no one applauded were places where I worked deeply. I was forming his patience. I was maturing his vision. I was strengthening his faith. I was removing haste that could hurt his future. My son, do not despise the station you are in. The tree does not complain about the time when its roots grow before the fruits appear. She simply continues to receive what she needs. Stay too. Nothing that I allow is empty. No process handed over to me is lost. No tears, no waiting, and no battle go without meaning when they are in my hands. I am transforming every part of your story into something that reveals my wisdom and my care. If this video came at the right time for you, write in the comments, "I believe, Lord," and declare that you're ready for this new phase, my son. I know that there are times when the future seems too heavy for your heart. I know that there are nights when your mind tries to imagine all possible scenarios, trying to find answers to what has not yet happened. You look to tomorrow and feel fear because you try to carry alone what has never been placed on your shoulders. But I want to speak to you now, with a father's love. You do not need to carry a future that is already in my hands. You think you are walking towards the unknown, but I tell you, no path is unknown to me. You think you are entering places where I have not yet reached, but I tell you, I am already present where your feet have not yet touched. Before you see the next door, I already know what is behind it. Before you face the next battle, I already know every detail of it. Before a tear comes to your eyes, I already know the strength that will be needed to pierce it. My child, do not allow the fear of tomorrow to steal the peace that I am placing in your today. You think you need to know everything to continue, but I tell you, you need only trust the one who already knows the entire way. Isaiah 46:10 states, "That I declare the end from the beginning, and from of old the things that have not yet come to pass." I'm not trying to figure out what will happen. I'm not waiting for the future to arrive and then act. I'm already there. I'm already preparing paths. I'm already lining up details that your eyes can't yet perceive. My son, maybe you're tired because you've waited too long. Maybe you've reached that place where your soul asks if it's still worth continuing to believe. But I want you to hear my voice at this time. Do not give up on the last stretch of the path. You think the wait has been too long, but I tell you, some of the greatest changes happen just when you believe you can't go on anymore. The seed remains hidden for a while before breaking through the earth. The dawn seems darker before the dawn reveals its light. The silence seems greater before a new word is heard. My son, I have not lost sight of what you have placed before me. I know the requests you made in secret. I know the dreams you almost abandoned. I know the hope you tried to protect, even after so many disappointments. You think that delay means that nothing is happening, but I tell you, there are movements happening in the invisible. I am preparing you to recognize that which is approaching. I am strengthening your faith, so that the blessing will not only find your hands, but also find a ready heart. The longer wait often reveals the depth of what is being formed. Don't just look at the time that has passed. Look at all that I have built within you while you waited. I keep leading your steps. I keep holding on to your story. And even if you don't see everything yet, know I'm already in the place where you're going. My son, I want you to understand a truth that no human opinion can change. Your identity was not born from your results. Your identity was born of my love. You've spent a lot of time trying to prove who you are. He tried to prove his worth to people who did not see his journey. He tried to prove his ability to those who remembered only his mistakes. He tried to prove that he was strong even when his heart was tired. But I want to free your soul from that weight. You think you need to convince the world that you have value, but I tell you, before the world recognized anything about you, I already knew your name. Before anyone saw your achievements, I already saw your heart. Before anyone celebrated their victories, I was already taking care of their history. My son, you are not the end product of your mistakes. You are not defined by the choices you made when you did not yet understand many things. You are not what they said about you. You are not what you have lost. You are not what a difficult phase tried to make you believe you were. You belong to me. I don't call you by the name of your downfalls. I don't look at you and see only your moments of weakness. I look at you and see someone who bears my mark, someone who was created with purpose, someone who is still being transformed by my hands. You think your failures have led you away from me, but I tell you, my grace continues to reach you. You think you need to be perfect again in order to get closer to me, but I tell you, I already know your imperfections, and yet I chose to walk with you. My son, Peter denied that he knew me, but I did not reduce Peter to his fall. I saw beyond that moment. I saw the restoration. I saw the transformation. I saw the man he would become after understanding the size of my grace. So also I see you. I see past the difficult chapter. I see beyond the tears. I see beyond what today seems like a weakness. Romans 8:38-39 declares, "Nothing can separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord." My child, engrave this truth within your soul. Nothing can separate you from my love, nor the past, nor the accusations, nor the moments when you fell, nor the voices that tried to convince you that it wasn't enough. My love does not depend on your perfection. It reveals the transformation I am doing in you. You think you need to build a new identity alone, but I tell you, I am already restoring what the pains tried to hide. I'm reminding your soul of who you are. I'm removing labels that never belonged to you. I'm healing the way you see yourself. My son, the world can change its opinions. People can forget about their efforts. Circumstances can change from one day to the next. But that which I establish remains. You are mine, and your true identity will always be safe in my hands. My son, I thank you for staying with me until the end of this message. I know that many moments of this journey have touched deep places of your soul, and today I want to remind you that your perseverance has not gone unnoticed before me. Every minute you have listened to my voice has been an opportunity to strengthen your faith and renew your hope. The blessing of perseverance reaches those who do not give up halfway. You have come this far because there is something within you that still believes, still seeks, and still desires to hear my direction. I see your full story, and I know every tear, every battle, and every prayer you have delivered in secret. My child, keep in your heart all that I have revealed today. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not walking alone. My presence continues to accompany your steps, and my hand continues to sustain your life. What seemed like backwardness was forming maturity. What seemed like loss was showing growth. What seemed like an end was preparing a new beginning. My child, allow this word to remain alive within your life. I want you to leave this message, remembering that your story is in my hands and that there are still chapters that I am revealing. Do not allow fear, doubt, or the past to define what I have already stated about you. Now walk in faith, stand firm, keep seeking my presence, and allow me to continue guiding your steps. If this word has touched your heart, enjoy this video as a gesture of gratitude. Share this message with someone who needs to hear a word of hope, and subscribe to this channel to continue receiving messages that strengthen your faith. I bless your life, your home, your family, and your paths. May my peace be upon you, and may your soul remain strengthened by the certainty that I am present. I also want to remind you that every gesture of faith can bring hope to another heart. Every sharing can reach someone who needs a word, and every moment dedicated to my presence brings your soul closer to what I prepare for your walk. Allow God to continue speaking to your heart. Take the next step in this journey by watching the next video that will appear here on the screen. In it, we will continue to learn how to live in God's presence and experience the fullness of His plans. Don't stop here, because God still has much more to speak to you. Always remember, God is greater, and His presence is our strength. Trust Him, and He will do infinitely more than you can imagine. May God bless your life, and see you in the next video.